Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, Apple, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which makes crypto investing easy. I've been using Uphold since 2017. They're one of my go-to exchanges. They have 10 plus million users, 250 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. If you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please visit the links in the description. Well, my friends, I want to start off with news around First Republic Bank because today its stock price plummeted by 49%, looking pretty bad. And the news or the catalyst for this collapse in the stock price was that there was an outflow of more than $100 billion in deposits in March. So the banking sector continues to feel the pain here. And of course, we saw last week scumbag lying regulator Gay Gensler tried to blame it on crypto. But of course, this has nothing to do with crypto. It had to do with the rapid increase of rates from the Fed, making all these banks feel the pressure. And these banks had exposures to bonds and treasuries, and those were not doing well. So their balance sheet took a major hit. So we're not out of the woods yet with these macroeconomic issues. Bitcoin, in fact, saw a bounce today on this news, but it's pretty rough. Right now, the price of this stock is down to about $9. But here's the funny part of it, and if I can say that, Jim Cramer, in March, on specifically March 10th, the man said First Republic Bank is new focus. Very good bank. This was when the price of the stock was at $85. It is now down to about $9. Inverse Cramer, right, guys? You do the opposite of what this man says. If he's bullish, you got to be bearish. If he's bearish, you're bullish, right? And remember, I believe it was in February, the man was like, sell all your Bitcoin and all your crypto. And that was right before the big rally upwards for Bitcoin. Unbelievable. This guy is a joke. He's become a meme now. All right, up next, Binance US Voyager deal is dead on arrival, my friends. This deal has been nuked, and I think it comes as no surprise, right? Binance US got hit with a lawsuit from the CFTC, so that puts pressure. And in fact, the SEC themselves were trying to block this deal, but thank goodness the judge, who has an allegiance to the law while the SEC does not, called out the hypocrisy of the SEC attorneys. And but the CFTC lawsuit against Binance, I think that pretty much killed it. So let me give you some details, guys. So crypto lender Voyager says they received a letter from Binance US terminating the asset purchase agreement. Voyager tweeted out the following. They said, today we received a letter from Binance terminating the asset purchase agreement. While this development is disappointing, our Chapter 11 plan allows for direct distribution of cash and crypto to customers, a toggle option via the Voyager platform. Consistent with the plan, we will now move swiftly to return value to customers via direct distributions. We will provide more information on next steps and any actions customers need to take in the coming days. They said our court filing, which details these developments, is available here, and they provided a full link. They said under the terms of the asset purchase agreement, Binance US is required to destroy all customer information that it has received and permanently close and remove any accounts established with Voyager customer information. So folks, let's see how this goes, and hopefully the users can get their funds back. I know some folks who have money stuck on Voyager, and this really sucks. Going forward, we got to raise the standard here for these platforms, and I would be very wary of any platform that does not allow you to remove your crypto. That's a major red flag. So just be careful. Voyager is one of them, if I recall correctly. And, I hope these things don't happen in the future. We need better exchanges, better platforms. And look, there was a lot of leverage in the crypto market, and this is part of the washing out, aspect. Not every crypto company failed. Many did well in the bull market, but we saw FTX, Voyager, Celsius, and these folks, go down. Now, some other Binance news. Ron Hammond of the Blockchain Association tweeted out the following, highlighting that the Binance, they don't have any favorability in Washington, D.C., and that's because there's a narrative that Binance is a Chinese company. So Ron said, another example that Binance has no friends in D.C. Senator Hagerty is not only on the Senate Banking Committee, but also one of the sharpest senators on crypto and national security. While FTX's fraud was a shock to DC, the same won't be said for Binance. So I don't know what's going to happen here with Binance, and Binance US. Hopefully, they can figure out something, and Binance US can keep operating, and Binance.com as well. Obviously, if there's fraud and there's wrong things being done, I'm not saying there is, but if there is, that is happening, these regulators should take actions and, make sure things are in order. So I'm not for, bad illegal activity or fraud. I'm for clear regulations and for the regulators to police the bad actors, right? To go after bad actors, not the innovators and the entrepreneurs and people who are doing great things. Once again, I'm not saying Binance is doing anything illegal. I'm just, talking in general at a principle of what should happen. Now, Eleanor Tourette highlighted the following. She's from Fox Business. She said a source close to Binance on whether the exchange plans to join Coinbase in suing the SEC. Here's the quote. Company leadership is highly supportive of Coinbase and their efforts to bring reason and clarity to the U.S. crypto regulations. However, the company is still dealing with the repercussions from or of FTX's previous campaign in Washington, D.C. to paint their Canadian CEO CZ as a Chinese communist and fears their involvement in the discussion could be counterproductive at this point. Yeah, it'd probably be best for Binance to lay low and not get involved. I think they should allow U.S. homegrown companies like Circle and these other ones, right, like BitGo and so forth, to take action, to join Coinbase. And I think we could probably see some of these companies file amicus briefs on behalf of Coinbase in the lawsuit against the SEC. So let's see what happens, but I think it's a smart move that Binance lays low, especially they got, what's going on with the CFTC and all the different rumors and narratives around Binance. Now, speaking of crypto regulations, this is an interesting one. U.S. Senators Ted Cruz, Cynthia Lummis, and Congressman Tom Emmer to speak at Bitcoin Policy Summit in D.C. tomorrow on how Bitcoin could benefit the country. Folks, this is great, right? A lot of people come into the market via Bitcoin. They know of the brand of Bitcoin, and then they discover altcoins, right? And they're able to diversify. And it's important that these folks in Congress come together. I love this, and fight for crypto regulations. And of course, shout out to Congressman Tom Emmer, who I've had on the show. I've interviewed Senator Cynthia Lummis at one point as well. And we need more. We need more. We need from both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrats, because we're going up against, corrupt regulator Gay Gensler, and of course his running partner Elizabeth Warren. And as I reported a couple of days ago, I've been told she's working on an anti-crypto bill, which should come as no surprise. And of course, she's probably collaborating with Goldman Gay Gensler on that one. There are two peas in a pod. Now, we got a tweet here from David Schwartz of Ripple. He's, of course, the chief technology officer there. And he retweeted something regarding XRP. And he said, I'm more personally excited about this feature than any other proposed XRPL feature in the past 10 years. So what is it? Well, Lachlan Todd, he tweeted out, my latest piece covers the new Xrpl Amm, so automated market maker network that's now live on DevNet. He said the key features include no MEV or MEV or front running, protocol native automated market making, single-sided liquidity provision, continuous auctions, club functionality. So this is interesting. We'll see what comes out of it. And so David seems to be in favor of this, and we'll see where this goes. Now, speaking of XRP, John Deaton and Crypto Law tweeted out the following. Tomorrow, Wednesday, April 26th at 1:30 p.m. PT, which is 4:30 p.m. Eastern, a hearing will take place in federal court in California on the class action case filed against Ripple. This is in regards to Ripple Labs versus Zakhanov versus Ripple from 2020. So I think this was the guy who bought XRP for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks and then decided to sue them. And it's like he bought like, I don't know, $1,000 of XRP. It's kind of ridiculous. So they said here, the judge has opened online access to 500 members of the public through this login notice. John provides that. You guys can, grab that from Twitter. The hearing is for oral arguments on the question of certifying the class of XRP holders suing the Ripple. The plaintiff, Bradley Sostak, who owned XRP for 2 weeks, is asking to be a lead plaintiff in the class and is asking to represent all XRP holders who either owned it or sold it at a loss or own it today. He is arguing in the lawsuit that XRP is a security. So Bradley's a clown trying to represent everybody. He owned it for 2 weeks. Get out of here, bro. I think he's a plant, in my opinion. John Deaton filed a motion for leave to file an amicus brief on behalf of 75,000 plus XRP holders in the case to have their voices heard before the court. His motion hasn't been ruled on yet. John retweeted this, noticed some crypto law. He said, please know that I intend to be on Zoom, but unlike the library hearing, this judge does not allow amicus counsel to participate at oral argument, even if the amicus brief is allowed. This is a long-standing rule of the court, so it has nothing to do with this case. So we'll see how this goes. John says, I assume the public will only be listening in listening mode, but just like I said with the New York hearings, please do not interrupt the proceedings and do not contact Ripple lawyers, the plaintiff lawyers, the court, or anyone else associated with the case. So we'll see what happens here. This guy, once again, trying to represent XRP holders, and I think he's a plant. The fact that he's trying to say XRP is a security, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm suing because of losses, but there's another thing to say, oh, XRP is a security. It makes me think he's a plant. Now, there's a clip circulating around Twitter of Gary Gensler, and in fact, there's been many because people are digging up all his past statements because of the clown show he put on last week where he couldn't answer simple questions. And the user who found this clip said the clip is from a fall 2018 graduate MIT course called Blockchain and Money. And we saw in the hearing with Congress, Gary said he never owned crypto and he never used it. So it's like, how are you teaching about this stuff and you actually haven't used it? So he said the hypocrisy speaks for itself, and he put a rat symbol. Here's the quote from what Gary's saying in the video. So we already know in the US and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs or not what would be called securities. Oh, really, Gary? Even in the US, Canada, and Taiwan, the three jurisdictions that follows something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities, is just a commodity, a cash crypto. A far cry from what he's saying today, right, folks? So we know about the lies, the hypocrisy, and that seat, the SEC chair seat, is beholden to the incumbents. While they put out a banner saying we're here to protect investors, they're in fact trying to protect the big players. That's where we've come to. It's crony capitalism at this point. Now, despite all these headwinds from the clown show that is Gary Gensler, we have big companies adopting crypto and building. Yesterday, we talked about Visa and their plans to hire and expand their crypto team. Well, today we got news that Google pushes forward in Web3 with Cloud Startup Program. Aptos, Celos, Flow, HBAR Foundation, Near, and Solana Foundations are all offering grants totaling up to $1 million for startups. So, folks, if crypto's a fad, if it's a scam, if it's a bubble, as some people would say, if it's a tulip bubble, right? Why is Google? Why is Visa? Why is BNY Mellon? Why is NASDAQ and Fidelity and all these folks in getting involved in building? I won't even give the answer. I'll let folks think about that. Google Cloud announced on Tuesday that it's rolling out benefits to allow Web3 startups to apply for its Startups Cloud program. The benefits include grants from foundation partners, which include Aptos, Celo, Solana Foundation, HBAR Foundation, and Near. Startups will also have access to Alchemy University while giving them credits worth $10,000 in Alchemy. They'll also have access to the Polygon Ventures Ecosystem Fund, which gives access to around $3 million in investments. There are two tiers for startups to apply through. The starting tier is optimized for projects and startups that have not been funded yet, meaning they're pre-seed and have been around for less than 5 years. The scale tier is designed for seed to Series A startups that have been founded in the last 10 years. Scale gives the startups access to the benefits mentioned above, with Google Cloud credits covered 100% up to $100,000 in a year. Or in year one, excuse me. This isn't Google's first foray into Web3. Last fall, Google Cloud announced the Blockchain Node Engine, which is a tool that builds and deploys on both blockchain-based applications and platforms. Ethereum was the first blockchain supported by the engine, but Google Cloud announced that Solana was being included as well last November. Google's parent company, Alphabet, was a huge investor in blockchain technology through 2021 and 2022, according to data from Block Data. Google's investing vehicles made 990 investments. Folks, look at what Google's doing. Look at what Visa's doing. They all see what's on the horizon. You either adapt to this disruptive tech and integrate it and build with it, or you will have your blockbuster moment and become irrelevant and go bankrupt and become go out of business, right? So really, really bullish to see these big companies doing things like this. Now, it's not only big companies, it's governments as well. So we got, I should say lately, we've been hearing a lot out of Russia and what they want to do with crypto and stable coins and so forth. So Russian finance minister says new payment system will allow unrestricted use of cryptocurrency in cross-border payments. Folks, it's a brave new world we're headed to, the token economy, everything on the blockchain, your fiat currencies in the form of CBDCs, stable coins, digital assets, cryptocurrencies, tokenizations of bonds, stocks, and different financial products, and even different commodities and assets, right? Artwork, cars, real estate, you name it. That's the world we're headed to. And I'm glad I'm here early. I'm an early adopter. I'm placing my bets, and I'm here to make money and, of course, get life-changing money and to gain financial freedom. So that's what I'm here for, folks. And of course, I am bullish on the technology. I'll be using it. I'll see how I can capitalize on it. And maybe from an entrepreneurial standpoint, obviously I have this podcast. I do work in the crypto industry as well. And I'm going to continue to look for opportunities, guys. So I hope you are as well, as you see these big players investing and building and adopting this technology. All right, let me know what you all think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video and podcast, and I'll talk to you all later.